Believe it or not, the energy to power both this e-bike and this analog bike comes from the sun. Whether it's through the food that I eat that powers my leg meat, or the e-bike, in this case some water above a dam here in Washington is flowing through a turbine. That electricity generation is pushing electrons through conductors all the way to my house, into my outlet, to go into this pack of lithium-ion batteries, and that water above that dam was put there by the water cycle, which is also powered by the sun. So I thought to myself, there's far too many conversions happening. There's gotta be a more direct way to take that energy from the sun and make it move us forward.
So on today's episode, I'm gonna be creating a solar-powered e-bike. For this build to be considered a success, I'm looking to create an e-bike with essentially unlimited energy. I want to be able to travel at least 100 miles and still make it home with power to spare. To make that happen, I'm going to need to make a trailer of solar panels that's lightweight, aerodynamic, and narrow enough to tow along bike paths in the shoulders of roads.
I think this whole project's about to seem wonderfully absurd.
Bubs, you like the solar panels? Is that a nice place to nap?
So rather than reinvent the wheel, I picked up one of these burly trailers as a chassis for this. They're light and durable, and they can carry up to 100 pounds, which is way more than I need.
So the plan then for the structure of the trailer is pretty basic. I'm thinking a couple of aluminum crossbars on the top of the burly trailer, and then on top of the crossbars I can bolt on the long aluminum frame pieces, and the solar panels are basically the right width to just sit on top of the whole thing. Then in the bed of the trailer itself I can carry electronics, film equipment for the trip. Should be good.
The hookup works well. As you can see, there's a little twist when the bike is leaned over, a little twist in the frame, but
with flexible solar panels, like, who cares really? I picked this aluminum extrusion because it's really light. It feels like it's about 15 pounds, I would guess.
So here's a quick tour of the setup. Over here, we've got these end of the cables, which will be hooked to the 3 solar panels in series. We've got our solar charge controller, LiPo battery from an RC car.
Basically, all that does is allow the charge controller to turn on and then take power from the panels and send it along its way.
We've got our inverter, and we've got the display here on the phone linked via Bluetooth to the charge controller.
Now you might be wondering why I'm using an inverter and an AC charger here, and that's because the solar panels are operating at 12 volts. The bike needs a charge of 54.6 volts, and after doing a bunch of research, the most efficient and least sketchy way for me to convert from this 12 volt system up to the 54.6 volts of the bike was to use an AC to DC conversion. Now I'm sure somebody out there has a better solution than this, but this is what I'm doing for now. I think it's time to package this mess up a bit more neatly and give it a test run. So we are theoretically ready to go. Solar panels are hooked up on the trailer, inverter's on, charger is powered up. My wife Lisa's coming with me for moral support or maybe heckling, I'm not sure. So we're gonna do about a 20-mile test ride. Now, that's about all the range this bike would have anyway, so if our infinite charging, infinite range system works, we'll come back with a full battery. But I have my doubts. I think we might need some tweaks.
This bike, on average, draws about 250 watts, and the 3 solar panels are rated to provide 300 watts total.
So we are 1.5 miles in. Effort level is low. My effort level is low, which is great, and we've been able to average a pretty high speed, able to cruise at 18 to 20 miles an hour. But it's clear that if I keep it plugged in, charging continuously, the battery in the trailer is slowly depleting. So I don't think this is enough power for infinite range, but we're gonna keep going just to see how close we are to meeting that threshold of power in versus power out.
Uh-oh, not gonna make that.
Dang, these bumps are killer. Also, this narrow bike lane is scary. Holy sh**. We're definitely slowly losing power.
Really?
Oh yeah. We're about 5 miles in. Already down 1 bar of battery on the e-bike. The big problem is that every time I go through a shadow, like just a shadow with this tree, and then back into the sun, and then back into the shadow again. What happens is the solar panels stop making power, and then it takes a few seconds when you're back in the sun for the charge controller to get back up to speed again. Because you just have one short section of panels, you're just never really getting the full potential of them. 6 miles in. Figured we'd stop in the sun for a sec. Yeah, we need full sun. We need full sun for our solar powered e-bike. Oh, we lost another bar briefly going up the hill. Oh, officially 3 bars on here. The pull up that hill really got me. So we made it pretty far, a solid 12 miles without really much physical effort at all. Hit our turnaround point because the e-bike's getting close to 50% battery and the solar panels cannot keep up. Sadly, while there's theoretically enough power for them to keep up, they have to be in full sun the whole time to be maximum efficiency to keep up with that power draw. So after about a half an hour break letting this thing charge up, I think we have enough to make it the 14 miles back home. We went a little bit further than I expected to today, just for a test run. Kind of got carried away early on because the battery seemed like it was really lasting a long time, and then kind of dropped off all of a sudden, obviously as the sun dropped a bit lower in the sky. But fingers crossed we got enough power to make it back. 10 miles to go. Less than 40% battery remaining on the e-bike. Not super convinced we're gonna make it. Still says 1 bar of battery, but I can feel the power dropping off. This is the very last hill, and I am, although the battery indicator says I have a little bit left, really don't have much assistance here. Oh, battery's flashing. She's dead. I got my thumb on the throttle, but battery is empty. I've actually never seen it this far down. I didn't even know I could get this empty. This is all me.
I eventually made it back home with tired legs and a completely dead battery.
Recap of our day 1 test ride. In my experience with this bike, I can usually get around 20 miles before it's pretty much dead, like basically no assistance. And today I made it 28 before I got to that point. So that's like nearly a 50% gain with the solar panels. So while we did extend our range, especially during the peak sun period of the day, I definitely did not achieve my infinite range solar charging e-bike riding dreams. But I have a couple ideas. I got a couple things I want to change, a couple things I want to tweak. Tomorrow's supposed to be a sunny day. I'm gonna make those changes tonight. And we'll get back out there tomorrow, so stay tuned. Yesterday, we did not have enough power. Today, we're doing something different. Today, we're doubling down. Yes, that's right. I built a second trailer, 3 more panels, twice as many watts, twice as much power. I'm about to hook these 2 together, and then we're gonna head 50 miles north to try to make it to the Canadian border.
Okay, we're off day 2 with the most absurd trailer ever behind me. Yesterday it was glances, a couple double takes. Today, it's just stairs. Hopefully forever. So today's route has taken me onto a gravel path, which it's nice to be away from traffic. Not sure how well the trailers are gonna hold up to this. Uh-oh. There is a sharp curve coming up. One sharp curve might just be the end of me. Oh God. What is this? This is absurd. Oh, made it. No way. Now where? Why is it so crazy? Oh no. Uh-oh. Not gonna make this one. No manual adjustment required. Sorry, other pedestrians. Okay, we made it 3 miles before our first mishap. Just had to repair a connection. Where's my DC input? This bundle of wires? Is there something wrong with my bundle of wires? Couldn't be. I'm gonna try to keep rolling and get out of town to the open roads. These tight corners are not it. Back on the open road, for better or for worse. The crazy thing is, like, I really thought it would feel a lot different on the road, but it really doesn't feel any different than having just one. It's just, if you gotta make a turn, it's so unwieldy. Oh, buddy. Yo, 30 miles an hour, baby. Let's talk. Talk to me, baby. This is unreal, so sick. We are cruising along flat into a mild headwind, 25 miles an hour, pulling out 250 watts and putting in 270 watts, so it's actually working! Unreal. I mean, it's completely impractical to ride, but power is balancing. Linden and coming up on our turn north to Canada called Double Ditch Road. It does indeed have 2 ditches and no shoulders, but so far, not busy. I'm gonna try to make it. I'm gonna try to make it. Mountains in Canada starting to get really clear. What a beautiful day. Cruising along in the sun, powered by the sun. Doesn't get better than this. That's it, right there. That is Canada. Those trees are in Canada. There we go. That's the border, boundary road. And we came from way back that way.
Phase 1 of this trip was a success. We made it 50 miles to Canada, which is 22 miles further than our entire test run yesterday. With the 3 additional solar panels, our battery power had significantly improved.
Charge levels are looking good.
Now it was time to make a very awkward U-turn and hope that the setting sun won't ruin my chances of making it back home with power to spare.
Well, this is pretty brutal. We're at our apex, just turned around, just at the Canadian border, very far away from home. Got me a flat tire. Somehow I didn't bring anything to repair the trailer wheels. Don't know why, I just didn't think I'd have an issue. There's just so many moving parts, literally. Just one of the impracticalities of a project like this. This trailer, the front trailer, has most of the weight in it. I'm gonna swap this flat tire out with the one in the back for now, I think.
Let's see how far we can make it with that flat. Okay, found a bike shop. It closes in half an hour. I'm 20 minutes away, so assuming no mishaps, I should be able to make it. However, I'm burning a little bit more battery than I'd like to go fast to get there in time. And we are back on the road. Little bike shop in Linden, Washington got squared away. We are back up to full speed, heading south. Now, the battery on the bike itself dropped to about 50% and it's holding there. That's pretty much what I expected. Batteries charge much more efficiently when they're about halfway dead than they do when they're near 100%. So you're able to put a lot more power in. So basically I expected the power to drop off a bit and then pretty much equalize out with how much current's going in versus how much is coming out and going to the motor. As the sun gets lower in the sky, our reserves are dwindling fast, down to 40% battery. Still a good 7-8 miles to get home with this heavy rig, so let's see how she does. Oh no, the sun's too low in the sky. We're out of power. So little energy remaining. Quads are burning. Oh my God. Solar powered bikes only work when there's sun. Oh. It's completely shaded now. I'm out of power. I am determined to pedal. I don't want to get off and walk. Officially made it. Yes. That concludes this journey. Still have energy. Made it. Barely, but we made it.
So to conclude this episode, I'd have to say that this solution was technically successful, and being technically correct is my favorite way to be correct. That being said, there's a number of things that make this very impractical. We have the physical size, a 21-foot long trailer behind your bike, and the fact that here in the Pacific Northwest, it only works for about 4 hours a day during the brightest, sunniest days of the year here. Being that it's raining today, I'm better off just eating some food and powering my bike with my own legs. However, for those 4 blissful hours, we were able to cruise along at 20 miles an hour or more, doing almost no work at all. And personally, I found pulling a 21-foot long trailer to be quite a bit of fun, but I'm also a little weird.